So what we see around the world when it comes to domestic workers is that you have to deal with so many sets of laws to improve their situation that is actually the most challenging at the moment. So we have to deal with labor laws, women are excluded from those, migrant women especially. We need to deal with immigrant laws, immigration laws, so visa systems for workers, and you need to deal with inspections, labor inspections. So it's a very complicated field, but it's so compelling what's happening to domestic workers that we need to keep working on it.
You've been watching situation all over the globe. So where is it most difficult?
Well, it's hard to say. There's a lot of difficult situations, but I do think that where we see the most, the highest numbers of abuse against domestic workers, especially migrant domestic workers, is this Asia to the Middle East nexus. So in countries like Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, I mean in Kuwait you have one domestic worker for every 2 people in the country, for example. So it's such a mass scale that I think those are the countries we focus on.
We tend to talk so much about Europe, and then we are always talking about Europe 27 versus the rest of Europe. Is there a huge difference between European Union and the rest of Europe?
Well, we haven't done research specifically on Europe, so it's hard for me to answer that. But what I do know is that a lot of the work we've been doing elsewhere is relevant for Europe because things are actually getting worse. We see that there's higher numbers of migrant domestic workers. There's less room for actual protections in law for them. But between the EU and the rest of Europe, we're not sure. I couldn't give you a good answer on that.
The example you mentioned from Lebanon, can you tell me about that?
Well, what happened in Lebanon was that there was a very serious situation, it still is a serious situation, of one woman dying every week by jumping off a balcony or killing herself in other ways. And this we found out in 2007. We started a massive campaign together with local organizations and the media, and we made sure that the government was listening to us, and slowly some improvements are happening. But this is a country where there are mass numbers of migrant domestic workers from Asia who suffer horrific abuse still.